XRP is just one of 4 altcoins that you need to be keeping an eye on in the short term. In this video, I'm going to tell you what Sentiment just released, which is a list of 4 altcoins that they have very bullish sentiment on, and I'm going to tell you what they are actually basing that on, which of course is some analysis that most other people aren't doing. Also, I have some very unfortunate news regarding the SEC, and I'm going to tell you what recently happened from the ETFs that were recently filed from BlackRock and Fidelity, as well as what to look out for on a macroeconomic scale, specifically next week. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we're covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and join the Late Night Grind community. And if you would do a couple of things, I'd really appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button and watch this video all the way to the end. Those really are the 2 best things you can do to support a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification icon so YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So before I start talking about those 4 altcoins that you're going to want to pay attention to and why, I wanted to talk specifically about the SEC. Now, there's been a lot of news recently regarding the SEC. They seem to be interjecting themselves into every conversation regarding cryptocurrency, and usually none of it good. Well, there was one bit of good news. However, it was very short-lived, and that was the rumor that Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC and the ringleader of this circus going after the cryptocurrency market, was resigning. A small and seemingly brand new news site had listed an article about how Gary Gensler was under investigation and how he was offering his resignation. It would later come out that the details of that investigation was because he was found entering into a short position of about $2.5 million regarding Bitcoin. Now, of course, that all seemed a little off. So a lot of people said, hang on, is this really news? Where's your source? But yet some others, including some big names in the Twitter world, ran with it, retweeted it, and were even talking about it. Now, that is bad practice, and this should be a case in which a lot of people, including myself, should really look into sources before retweeting it and specifically talking about it. So, a lot of people were in wait-and-see mode, and then Eleanor Tourette of Fox Business came out and tweeted it, and she said, from her official source at the SEC, it is fake news. Gary Gensler is not resigning. There is no investigation, at least nothing that they would admit publicly, even though other people may be doing their own investigations. So none of that was true. It was fake news. And the rest of the cryptocurrency world, while they had their hopes up so much, well, they had their hopes let down. But that just goes to show you how bad the cryptocurrency world already knows what kind of a circus Gary Gensler has this SEC. What kind of a witch hunt, if you call it, into trying to claim that certain cryptocurrencies are in fact securities, and that these exchanges are basically being illegal exchanges, listing these illegal securities available for trade, going after Coinbase, going after Binance US, and so forth. So unfortunately, Gary Gensler is not resigning, at least not yet. However, if you follow this channel or crypto Twitter, you will see that there are some members in Congress that are absolutely calling for Gary Gensler's resignation, as well as many people, including Coinbase, who is now in a legal fight with the SEC. Now, I wanted to get into the rest of the crypto market, specifically the Bitcoin ETFs that BlackRock and Fidelity and several others had recently filed. Now, the news of those filings had pushed Bitcoin from about 27,000 up to 31,000 very quickly the other week when they were filed. It hit Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin hit a resistance level at about 31,000 as people were in a wait and see mode. And even a couple of days ago, there was a little bit of sell pressure as the news came out that the SEC had, of course, denied those applications, calling them inadequate. Well, it wasn't all bad news, because as some financial analysts dug into it, they realized that, well, really the only thing the SEC was calling for was more information on custodial services and surveillance information and who they were going to be using for their surveillance, i.e. the NASDAQ or Coinbase, things like that. So very quickly, both Fidelity and BlackRock refiled their Bitcoin ETF filings, and they did so with more information that the SEC had been seeking. Now, BlackRock specifically said they were going to be using Coinbase as their custodial service and their surveillance service into the market. Now, they could also be using NASDAQ, as several others have used NASDAQ surveillance services as well, but it's something that the SEC requires. Now, it seems like that would be something very simple, which is why they probably edited and refiled these applications very quickly, within about a week. So, is this all that the SEC is looking for? Or is this going to be another big L that the SEC tries to hand Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market? because there's a lot of institutional interest now starting to shape up, even outside of these ETFs, into Bitcoin. So let me know in the comment section down below, because there's a lot of people that saying the bull market already began, albeit in its infancy, and there's others that say, hold on, there is a big dump, a big market dump yet to happen in the cryptocurrency market, the equities market, and even the real estate market. And those people that are predicting it for the end of this year, even into the beginning of 2024. So let me know which side of the fence you're on, because regardless of if there is a dump or not, it's very choppy, and the expectation of price movement and the expectation of price increases are also very choppy, which typically signals a market bottom, which a market bottom typically lasts a lot longer than a market top. Let me know in the comments down below. So if in fact we are at or near a market bottom for cryptocurrency world, then you're going to want to pay attention to this segment, because XRP was just named by Santiment, which is an on-chain analytics firm that measures all things analytics and does some technical analysis on more than just price movements. Then listen up. So XRP, along with Cardano, ADA, Ethereum, and BNB, which is the Binance token. All four of these were put on a watch list by Santiment, saying there's a reason that you need to be paying attention to these four altcoins, because Bitcoin dominance that has been surging in the past 10 days, in fact, been surging for the past couple of months. And it was talking about not just the market share that Bitcoin has over crypto, it's talking about the social dominance, meaning how much is Bitcoin in the conversation comparatively to the rest of the cryptocurrencies. Well, Bitcoin's been surging, its social dominance has been climbing big, largely due to the fact of these ETFs being filed by BlackRock, Fidelity, all of the institutional interest that's recently been happening into the Bitcoin world. So obviously that makes sense. However, as prices have been going up and down, XRP, Cardano, BNB, they've seemed to have settled into a sideways trading trend. And that makes sense because their social dominance has been extremely low relatively to Bitcoin and even to some of the rest of the markets. Now, for me, that makes more sense because as XRP holders, they're typically watching the SEC versus the Ripple case. They want to see how that shapes out. They want to see if XRP is going to get its regulatory clarity, in which case it could be a shot to the moon. They're also keeping an eye on BNB, because as very few people are talking about it right now, because the SEC, of course, has just went after Binance US for being an illegal securities trading firm. Well, BNB, which is Binance's native token, has been sliding in the past few months as they were of XRP when the SEC first went after Ripple. They're being very careful in terms of what they do with it. Is it actually a good investment right now? But according to Santiment, because the price has been trading and because there is nothing legally that is happening to Binance right now, especially Binance being located or founded in China, the SEC not having jurisdiction over that other than the Binance US firm. BNB could be one to watch because they've been extremely low on the social dominance numbers. In fact, almost as low as XRP. Last week, I mentioned on a video that I made that the social momentum of XRP had dropped almost 98% because people were in a wait-and-see pattern, waiting to see what comes of the Ripple versus the SEC case. Well, some people may be doing the same thing with the SEC versus Binance US and what's going to happen with the BNB token. It's essentially in the same boat as XRP. People are in a wait-and-see mode, and it could get some regulatory clarity. And it could get some regulatory clarity in the coming months. We're going to have to see. But regardless, if it's trading sideways right now, because if there is a local bottom indeed, well, if the social momentum is extremely low, like XRP, if the social dominance is low comparative to Bitcoin, well, it's going to be one to watch. Now, the other two, of course, Ethereum and Cardano, that intrigues me a little bit because they typically are mentioned more on social media, especially Ethereum and Cardano, because they have huge thriving communities, much like XRP, but yet their social dominance was also very low in the last couple of weeks. Now, what is the other reason that Santiment actually put them on this watch list for altcoins to watch out for? Well, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, all four of these were added to a new index from over in Hong Kong, which is of course making a big jump into Web3 and crypto. And that index having very stringent listing guidelines, all four of these cryptocurrencies have passed and are being added to that index. So if in fact social dominance is low for all these coins and yet they're trading sideways, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if their social dominance is low, let me know in the comment section below if these are on your watch list as well, especially as we get into the next couple of months. Also, some big news next week. We have the FOMC meeting minutes coming out in the next week or two, where they're going to be announcing a potential rate hike yet again. In fact, the odds of a 0.25% raise in basis point raise is at about 98%. The odds of a raise at about 98%. Last week, the odds makers had it about 97%. So those that are actually betting on these kinds of things say it is in all likelihood that there's going to be a 0.25 percentage point raise by the US Fed. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.